Shalom, Shalom, Israel, another video. Just, talking about some things that, Jay can relate to. Because, Jay got to understand how things are developed, and it's all in the agenda, we always say, and it's scriptural too. But dealing with let's deal with the music, and I'm gonna break into music more because it's a heavy demonic influence on our people. So back in the '80s, all the rappers were coming from the Bronx and Brooklyn, New York, and when they were coming out. Now I didn't know it's a female named MC Sharrock. I didn't know her, but I did. I was did know of Roxanne Shante, and listen to Run DMC and all them. I heard Roxanne Shante, and that was a big back then in the '80s. That was a big thing. That was females talking about like, oh, men are dominating rap. Well, shit, Roxanne Shante against the real Roxanne. That was a big ass thing in the '80s, man. She was and Roxanne Shante, she was dissing what was that, UTFO, I think it was. She was dissing, I think she dissed Run DMC. She was kind of like a battle rapper, and she was dissing she was dissing male and female rappers, I think she's from the Bronx, if I'm not mistaken, but she didn't talk about none sexual, you know. She actually, when she was dissing some of them, it was either I think it was UTFO or Full Force, one of them. But she said they tried to get at her and all that, and she was dissing, talking about, you ain't nothing. She was she was down on them. And so, and then, she got into it with some other rappers, other female rappers, and one of them was, the MC Light, I think, and the group Salt and Pepper, which when Salt and Pepper and MC Light and all them came, Queen Latifah, they kind of set a bar for female rappers in the media, in the entertainment perspective, They kind of set a bar for that, and so they had a lot of fans and a lot of positive feedback regarding entertainment and being an industry performance and all that. They still, as you see in the picture right here, they wasn't ratchet. When I used to listen to them, I was like, damn, man, females are rapping, you know what I'm saying? And they were pretty, they decent looking. And I was like, man, hip hop is growing. Black, and I just thought about like how black people are getting an opportunity to do this, and expressing themselves and all that, regardless of the battles and beef. Because beef wasn't really beef back then. It wasn't really it wasn't no really heavy hatred to where you gonna kill somebody, But it was more like lyrics, yeah, and maybe fist fights and all that, but it wasn't, wasn't grimy like it is today. But and they had a sexual appeal, but they wasn't talking ratchet. They wasn't talking about they I know they one song called It's Your Shake, It's Your Thing. When they was talking about their body parts and all that, and push it, and come, if you listen to that, but it wasn't really explicit. It's kind of like having fun, you know. It was kind of more like having fun, and people would call it today innocent fun, whatever. But it was that shit was developing, man. That ratchet shit was developing, you know. Um, and then you had some in between stuff going on with female rappers on the rise now. MC Light, she was kind of like, you know, she was kind of like they. It's been known, and a lot of men have said like women from New York, they kind of like, you know, they're kind of like bold and aggressive or whatever, and that's how Salt and Pepper came, but it still was that feminine there. You know, you could still see the woman in them, and it's the same as MC Light. MC Light kind of raised that bar up of you know, yeah, she's a woman, but she's like she kind of rapped more hardcore than Salt and Pepper. And Queen Latifah, she was on her, you know, woman empowerment and you know, Nubian queen type of shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why she was called Queen Latifah. So in that you could you could see like developing like now looking back you can see that the Ratchet is developing that freedom, that woman empowered to freedom to where you're able to express yourself sexually, and now it's become, you know, the Sukihanas and Sexy Reds and all that, the Lil Kims, um, and nobody really saw it coming because you know you know being and the males were producing them and all that, and you know they didn't think they were thriving and to be heard, but they were really being heard at the same time. So you know that shit was already into play. That shit was already working into people's mind. You know, women talking shit, women, you know, pulling a power move and all that, voicing their opinions, being boisterous. That was already in play with these women, man. You know, so it was bound for destruction, man. It was bound for fucking destruction. You know, and let me get that scripture. It says, Amos 7:17. It says, "Therefore said the Lord, said the Lord, thy wife shall be an harlot in the city, and thy sons and thy daughters shall fall by the sword, and thy land shall be divided by line, and thou shalt die in the polluted land. And Israel shall surely go into captivity forth of his land." And this is a representation of our women being harlots, man. And mainly in this city, America, because America's a city, you know. And if you grew up, I mean, you know, anybody that grew up in the 80s, you know, 80s, you know, I was born in the 70s and grew up, you know, kind of grew up in the 80s. So I caught wind of all the hip hop and all this stuff that when it began, so to speak. And you know, it wasn't turned up like this. I mean, it didn't seem that bad. Now it was working, and but nobody really noticed it. It was kind of like having fun because they was still being produced by men, and their lyrics were written by men, you know, but they were still kind of putting that out there that females can rap too. Females, they do a Salt and Pepper was kind of like a fun entertainment group, and you know, kind of play a role of, you know, checking males and, you know, accusing them of cheating and all that, and kind of boisterous and kind of aggressive when it came to what kind of men they wanted, and you know, and they still make those lyrics. They still make those lyrics in the late '90s and the early year 2000s and all that. So they was kind of like the foreground of this woman type hood type of thing in the entertainment world, and of course BET as a stepping stone for everyone that was coming out, every rapper that was coming out. So they didn't stop. They just allowed it, this shit to happen. Publicly, displaying that kind of image. So, like I said, when I listened to him, I wasn't even bothered by it, man. I was like, damn, I was just like, I was entertained, you know, like many of us are entertained, but didn't know that it was gonna open up a door to just fucking hell, you know. Um. Anyway, let me see. Yeah, women should be a harlot in the city. Um, there's seducing spirits out there. There's encouragements and influences. You know, says hearts are snares and nets. So when they get in and they get a little power, they try to join the a movement for women. Sister Soldier and all them. You know, that's when they were really trying to put their stamp in and make their mark in the music, hip hop industry. Mainly hip hop. I'm talking about, but it's crazy. It went all the way downhill. Look at now. You got Cardi B. You had Lil Kim. Before her was a woman called Choice. Her raps were dirtier. Her raps were dirty like Lil Kim. She came out in 1990. Lil Kim came out in 1996. She was the first Lil Kim. I didn't even know she existed. She's from Houston, Texas, and her lyrics are her lyrics are nasty as hell, man. And then you had you had Trina, you know. She just went all out, man. I read some other lyrics. It's just unbelievable. Like, what the fuck? And I'm like, who raised these women, man? Or who raised these harlots? Who raised these ratchet ass females, man? Because they're not really women. Um, Wipeth her mouth. They're really whores, man. It says, Proverbs 30 and 20, such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth and say, I have done no wickedness. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Like if you hear or read or know some of these lyrics that these females are saying, not only today but back then, even Salt and Pepper, they were the real. They Lil Kim. I mean, who was it? MC Light was more. She was more like a tomboy, you know. Queen Latifah was doing her thing with you know the feminism and kind of cultural type of woman, you know. And then Salt and Pepper, they the ones that kind of sexualize rap, you know. So all those three things came together, and bum rush hip hop to where it became acceptable on a mass level, even with fans. I never bought no woman CD in my life, you know. not even the not even male rappers and shit. Like I think about the Dog Pound. Of course, I bought Rakim. Um, I think I had Wu Tang, but not that many. Like they got to be dope. But you know, that was my era. But I ain't never bought no female rap album because they came on BET or whatever. But they was talking shit, man, and it was for entertainment. Like so I'm not getting ready to like entertain them with my money and shit. Even though that's how it go in the world. But it's just I enjoyed what I saw, and it was black women. It was kind of like us being heard a little bit. You know what I'm saying? As a people, as black people. So kind of people let it, but how they come to this point to where, oh yeah, we ain't never been heard in hip hop, and it's a male dominated. Get the fuck out of here, man. And this is the hoardism of our women. They just, you know what I'm saying? She wipeth her mouth and say, "I have done no wickedness," and that's even with displaying themselves as a head figure. Because when you do that, man, you basically go into a zone to where you know that you gonna get attached. You attached to a whole level of entities. You know, because when a woman's ahead, she gonna take all opportunities. It talks about she turned no quib. You know, yeah, that's an apocrypha. I think it's called Every Arrow. Every Arrow. Yeah. So right 26 and 12, she will open her mouth as a thirsty traveler when she had found a fountain and drink of every water nearby. At every hedge will she sit down and open her quiver at every arrow, man. Every opportunity that a woman can get, even in this hip hop game, in anything else, they was taking those shots, man. They was like, oh, okay. They was telling them how to dress, you know. Come on, man. You don't grow up. I don't care how rough the city is. You don't grow up and you just a tomboy and shit. Somebody had to teach you and guide you how to be a tomboy, or you got turned out to be, you know, from a you know aggressive lesbian or something. You can grow up in the heart of the hood and still be a woman and shit, man. So you can't use that as a fucking excuse, man. This is this is what happened, man. And then when Lil Kim came out in the 90s, mid 90s, what have you, 96, she started that. She's really the mother of that ratchet shit, you know. Because Choice, she never got on that. She was with Rap A Lot Records, and it was prominent rappers like Ghetto Boys and Slim Thug, but Lil Kim was the one that they used to spread that ratchet, you know, stuff, you know, and even sort of speaking R&B and with Patra, all them, and you know, it just opened the door to hell, man. So that's where you get now. You have and BET supported all this shit, man. They supported Lil Kim. That's why they that's set up. That's funded by the so-called white man to keep us down, to keep our women as whores, to keep our us men. I mean, the men of Israel as pimps, you know, and gangsters and all that. I mean, come on. That's when the mid '90s with Lil Kim. Same thing with gangster rap, Snoop Dogg and them. You know, Dog Pound. They have some tight ass songs, man. Our people have tight ass songs. You know, you can't deny that. We the salt of the earth. We gonna have some tight ass songs. Lil Kim is one of my favorite female rappers. She's my favorite female rapper. I like her voice and everything, but she's just a fucking. She's a harlot, man. And she was pretty back then. She was pretty to me back then. She's just a fucking harlot, you know. But that's what always happens with Israel, man. We they open a door to fucking wickedness, open a door to sin, man, and let the fucking devil in, man. That's what always happens, man. And now you got the most ratchet women in the world going platinum and with all kind of views and all that, man. And then you got to go to that scripture, Ezekiel. I mean, it's like Ecclesiastes, you know. And it's a hard thing for women to swallow, but you know. Ecclesiastes 7:26. You can read it yourself. But that's what happens, man. You know? That's what happened. And that's why apostles are important because they not only came from that era, but they're the fathers of the voice of the Most High turning this shit back around into righteousness coming from the east, you know? And you had the conscious rap, you had the neo soul, we had that in the '90s. It was also the other side, man. And I ain't saying gangster rap was just such influence to just go down the tube and wickedness, cause I liked all that shit. I like all the gangster rap, all the West Coast stuff, and I never was influenced to do wicked because of that. That's and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for that, man. That the Most High didn't allow me to be taken by that music or influenced by the music like that. But it comes from somewhere. It comes from an origin, and if you don't stop it, it's gonna get crazy and wicked, and it's gonna get hellish. Like those two songs I always talk about. You're headed for self destruction on the East Coast, and we're all in the same gang on the West Coast. But anytime a wicked ass woman is invited or included or part of the group, and that's what was going on. Even though it was fun, it seemed fun and enjoyable, but that they were out of order. Them women, MC Light, she was out of order. Salt and Pepper, they were out of order. Queen Latifah, she was out of order, man. And on through, man. Even hip hop and R&B, they were out of order, man. you had R&B weakness with men. Yeah, we listen to R&B, great songs. But Boys the Men, Down on Bended Knee, hurt Israel, hurt male Israel. The fuck out of here, Down on Bended Knee. I'm sorry. Apologize. Oh, Keith Sweat begging and shit. Keith Sweat got some tight ass songs. He even said himself, I beg because you won't have to. You could get a lot of, Jay got a lot of box lists, with the R&B songs, man. But it didn't answer anything, man, because it was just entertainment, man. This is the truth is the real deal, man. The truth is not entertainment, man. The truth is the cut raw, real, and uncut, man. That's what we supposed to remain in and grow thereby. To escape all this BS, man. Like I said, who pleases God shall escape from him, man. But the sinner shall be taken by it. Anyway, hope it is edifying. Shalom.